Changing the linear bearings on the Infeed clamp assembly. Some saws have an anchor head option on this assembly. If you do not, fast forward past that step. Push in an E-stop, then open the saw chamber door. When done, do a proper lockout and tagout procedure on the machine's main electrical panel. Now locate the panel or disconnect in the plant that supplies power to the machine and do a proper lockout and tagout procedure on it. This photo is just an example of a disconnect. Push in on the yellow lockout lever on the main air pressure regulator and lockout-tagout that lever to prevent pneumatic parts from moving. Remove the guard covering the Infeed clamp assembly by removing the 2 bolts on the outside of the guard, then by lifting the top cover plate and removing the 3 bolts on the inside of the guard. Remove the guard covering the top clamp assembly by removing the 4 bolts on the outside of the guard. Lift up on the top clamp assembly and lift up on the hand clamp handle inside the saw chamber. This will hold the clamp up and out of the way. With a marking pin, mark a line on the anchor supply line base at the clamp that holds the anchor head in place. Disconnect the anchor electrical plug and pull up on the lines from the anchor head. This is very important. 2 lines will have a quick disconnect coupling on them. With tape, mark one of these lines on each side of its coupling. So on reconnecting the lines with the tape on them get plugged back into each other. To disconnect lines, push down on the chrome piece on the coupling. Now, remove the anchor clamp bolts and move the anchor head out of the way. Remove the rod Clevis pin on the air cylinder and disconnect the Airlines from it. Pivot the cylinder out of the way. Remove the 16 bolts holding the bearings in place and lift off the base. Note the orientation of the grease circs before removing the bearings, so they will be correct on the install of the new ones for regular maintenance cycle greasing. Now you can slide the bearings off the linear rail. Place the new bearings on the rail. Keep the plastic cover on the new bearings to protect the ball bearings inside of it, as the cover will slide off as you slide the new bearings on the rail. Once all the bearings are in place and the orientation of the grease circs are correct, grease these bearings before putting the machine back into use. In the future, grease them regularly as part of your preventive maintenance program. Reinstall the base and replace all 16 bolts. Reconnect the Airlines from the air cylinder and reinstall the Clevis pin. Reconnect the anchor lines with the tape on them first, then reconnect the other line. Align the marks on the supply line base that you made previously and the end of the anchor clamp, and reinstall the clamp bolts. Reconnect the anchor electrical plug. Now, the distance between the anchor head and the lumber should be the same as before. Lift slightly on the top air clamp to lower the hand clamp handle inside the saw chamber door. Lower the top clamp and close the saw chamber door. Reinstall the guard covering the top clamp assembly. Reinstall the guard covering the Infeed clamp assembly. Reverse the lockout-tagout procedure.